This bill mandates the display of the Ten Commandments in every classroom in public, elementary, secondary, and post-education schools in the state of Louisiana. Because if you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses.
That's right.
Amen.
All right.
God gave, Moses received.
That's right. He got his commandments from God, and then he wrote them off for us. All right.
All right. Even before he signed that law, making Louisiana the first and only state so far requiring the Ten Commandments be displayed in every classroom, Landry was touting it as a right-wing culture war victory. He told a Republican fundraiser in Tennessee he can't wait to be sued over the law. Well, he's gotten his wish. Four groups, the ACLU of Louisiana, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and Americans United for Separation of Church and State are suing Louisiana over its Ten Commandments law. Joining me now is Rachel Laser, President and CEO of Americans United for Separation of Church and State. So you're giving him his wish. What they're arguing is the president of the Louisiana Family Forum, named Gene Mills, has argued that the Ten Commandments provide the foundations for modern day law in America. Can't seem to find it in the Constitution, but your thoughts?
My thoughts are this law is a prime example of Christian nationalism, the Christian nationalism that's on march across this entire country. What we're talking about is school children from a variety of different religious backgrounds and none who are being forced to read and venerate the school's preferred brand of Christianity. That's why Americans United for Separation of Church and State was created. That's why we're suing in court with our partners. And as a mom, I want to just point out that we're talking about the religious freedom of school children. Children, they're captive audiences in school. They're impressionable. No children should be made to feel afraid of being ostracized or bullied or like they don't fit into the in-group. They're part of an out-group based on their religious beliefs. Religious freedom belongs to all of us, not just some.
Well, there's also the point that if they're going to go by Moses, they should display the Torah, not the Bible. But we won't go biblical and get technical. They are feeling the wind at their backs, the Christian nationalists, because there have been Supreme Court rulings in their favor. So the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a Christian coach's right to pray on the 50-yard line. This was in the Kennedy versus Bremerton School District case in 2022. There have been other cases that have signaled that this Supreme Court is ready to rule in favor of Christian nationalism. Are you concerned that a lawsuit that you all are filing could go back to this 6-3 Supreme Court, Leonard Leo's court, and they could affirm that the entire country can have this?
We have to be concerned. And by the way, that Kennedy versus Bremerton case, Americans United argued on behalf of the Bremerton School District. We lost. We're very concerned. I mean, we not only have a series of rulings in favor of a football coach being allowed to pressure players to pray at a public school on the 50-yard line, in favor of a state, Maine, being forced to fund religious education with taxpayers' dollars, overturning Roe v. Wade. The list is long. And now we have a Supreme Court justice who's telling us he's aligned verbally and in the Christian nationalist flag, the Appeal to Heaven flag. He flew outside of his vacation home that he's aligned with Christian nationalism. So we are definitely concerned. But what would the Supreme Court do? Can't read tea leaves, but this is a no-brainer, obvious case. This would be overruling over 40 years of precedent.
Yeah.
Here we go again, right, with longstanding precedent.
There was a case that specifically was about the Ten Commandments being displayed in classrooms. Michael Signorelli wrote a piece about it. This was in 1980.
Yeah.
So we're talking about from that era, there actually was a case that ruled on this, and they ruled, no, you cannot display this.
Absolutely. That case was Stone versus Graham. It was a very similar Ten Commandments display in public school classrooms in Kentucky. The court said, nope, that's unconstitutional. It violates church-state separation. And every federal court that has considered this question has ruled the same way.
The way that they're arguing that, this is somehow a foundational element in the Constitution, there is nothing about the Ten Commandments or the Christian Bible in the Constitution, right? Have I just read it wrong?
No, you've read it right. The Constitution promises religious freedom. It promises no religious test for anyone in public office. It doesn't reference God. Our Constitution is an American original. It puts the power in the people, not in a divine entity, and it protects religion through doing that. I mean, America's a very religious country, and we are because religion isn't forced on anyone. Religion can thrive that way.
Yeah, and and it is ironic to me that these are the same people who will make the argument that a pride flag in a classroom is indoctrination, but they don't think the Ten Commandments is indoctrination. Do you? I mean, I see some irony there.
Yes, indeed. I was just on a conservative talk show where they made that exact argument. And there is no separation of flags in state. There is no separation of sexuality in state. There's a separation of church and state.
That's
and it protects religious freedom for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hate to break it to folks, but Moses was not a Christian. That religion did not exist. He was Jewish. And so it's the Torah that you want to be displaying if that's where you want to go with this. But that's not supposed to be in school either. You're supposed to learn to read. Rachel Laser, thank you very much and good luck. Please keep us up to date.